The Untold Adventures of Biao. Season 1. Episode 14. Mr. Gong didn't care about this either. He even didn't stand up to look at it and said few words. Stop looking. That child's soul does not belong to you. Cultivate well, don't go down the wrong path. It's no use for you. Didn't know if the creature understood what Mr. Gong or not, but it looked at them for a while and then slowly dived into the river. Biao only saw its large shadow hiding in the riverbed, but what it was, he really didn't know. Dad, what is that river creature? Do you want to know? It is the creature that has been cultivated for a long time here. It is Spirit Lake Horse. As long as you can use summoning the dead, you can go and ask it yourself. Mr. Gong lit his pipe, took 2 sips, then told Biao that he could go and ask Spirit Lake Horse himself if he wanted to know anything. When Biao heard this, he shook his head. Although he was curious about this, he felt that young people should be trendy. Dad, you're back again. I don't feel that Spirit Lake Horse has the same dignity as your son. Leave it. I let you think it over and decide. In short, I won't tell you. Mr. Gong also didn't force him. Some things couldn't be rash. It was up to destiny. The father and son saw that it was almost morning and immediately returned to the village to find someone to report to the police. It's almost morning. Let's go back to the village and report to the police. You find a white towel to cover the body, don't let the sunshine on it. What? Looking for a white towel? Deficit again. Around 9 o'clock the following day, the quiet riverbank was filled with the noise of the police, which alarmed many houses living nearby. A group of policemen in the city came here, took photos, and examined the body. Because in the morning, it was more precise, the corpse was so rotten that it was haunting by just looking at it. Most of the flesh on the body was eaten by the fish. The body was full of holes. Many parts were decomposed quite seriously. The news of a dead body on the riverbank spread everywhere, led to more and more people coming to see it. A riverbank that was once quiet was now bustling with people. Mr. Gong, is it you who brought up this dead body? It's my son who did it. At this time, Mr. Gong led Biao to the crowded place and talked to a middle-aged man who appeared to be the boss here. Please help to solve this case. It's your responsibility to solve crimes. However, I did ask last night. This has to be said from the identity of this woman. She had a relationship with her teacher. It is all I can tell you. Although Mr. Gong said he didn't want to be involved, he still said what he needed to say. When this middle-aged man heard this, he knew that he had enough information to solve the case, so he did not ask anymore. This person, with his back turned, was very interested in Biao. However, Biao did not have a good impression of this person. He kept feeling this person was monstrous, clearly not decent. Is this your son? Wow, this boy is really handsome. If you go into the city, you will make a bunch of girls fall in love. You don't manipulate him. Here are 500 and my contact method as a gift. In the future, if you go to the city, then just look for me. Unexpectedly, this person was so generous, took 500 from his pocket and stuffed it into Biao's hand. After stuffing the money, this man went toward the riverbank, but maybe he was afraid of Mr. Gong's overthinking, so he paused and said a sentence. Don't worry, this is the fee to pick up the body. I will be refunded later when I return. Mr. Gong also knew this person before, so he didn't show any formality, said a few sentences. If you were half as calm as your elder brother, you wouldn't be what you are now. Having that boring calm look all day? Bored to death. I'm like my way now. This person did not seem to like the words of Mr. Gong. After that, he immediately ordered to put the body in the car and quickly withdrew the team from the scene. This case was soon solved. Biao listened to the villagers' gossip to know the details. It turned out that upstream of the river, there was a rather big village. The corpse was a high school girl in the village. A while ago at school, a new teacher arrived. These two had a close relationship. They often met under a big tree on the mountainside. It went on like that for a few months. Then one day, the girl told the teacher that it had been several months that her period had not yet come. The two conferred with each other, and the girl believed in the trick that he would meet her parents to get married. This time, it really made the teacher feel dumbfounded. Guessing that the teacher didn't want to marry that girl from the very beginning, so he was secretly dating like this. He tricked the girl to the lake, using sweet words to catch her off guard. He asked the girl to go to the lake above. His mouth said that he would take her to the city to live. The poor girl still didn't know what the teacher was going to do to her. He chose this place because he knew that this place was quite high and the flow was very fast. And he knew she couldn't swim either. Then the terrible thing happened. The girl cried out in agony, but the teacher still ruthlessly pushed her into the fast-flowing water. He thought that if falling into the river, no one could find the body. And with the fishes down there, this would go unnoticed forever. It was unexpected that the heavens had eyes. This body was discovered by Mr. Gong and Biao. Not only was the body was found, but they also helped to solve the case. It was said that when this person was arrested, there were many people around watching and cursing him. If there was no police escort, perhaps the anger of the people would beat him to death. As a teacher who taught hundreds of people, he did such a cruel thing. The anger of the villagers reached its peak. Speaking of father and son, Mr. Gong, after finished handling the female body floating in the river, they remembered that they hadn't slept all night. So they prepared to go home for a rest. Biao was now overjoyed because he had 500. Then it was not considered unpaid work anymore. On the way home, Mr. Gong sensitively discovered that someone was following them. Okay, stop thinking about it. After this, you should not interact with that Chin man. After all, he is a man of the state. I don't think he's bad, at least not stingy. I know who he is. Never mind, let's go. Actually, Biao was no ordinary type. He also had sharp senses. But seeing that his father did not speak it out, Biao himself did not dare to alarm that person. I told you already, don't disobey my words. That Chin man is an extremely troublesome person, a quick and dangerous person. You should not approach him. I know. Dad, I want to go home. I'm so sleepy. The father and son did not notice that the shadow stalking them was not easy to let go of.